welcome to another random battle replay cast. And today I'm gonna feature the Henri IV once more, and this time it's played by Stoev 2606, who's I think demonstrating how you are supposed to play the Henri. Maybe little disclaimer for all those who watched Stoev's videos and didn't like it. Well, it's a bit of a lot of scroll zooming involved. Stoev is doing that, even though he's one of at least one of the best players I know personally. So if you are disgusted by that, then maybe you shouldn't watch the video. Apart from that, who are interested how it's supposed to be played, this is the video about it in a nutshell. For all those who have the legendary module already or grinded already the legendary module, they will figure out it's only 13 kilometers concealment, so that means Stoev is not running the concealment module, but I can assure you he's running IFHE. So for all that don't know what this kind of effect it has, IFHE means that you add 30% more penetration on your high explosive shells, and since the Henri has a caliber of 240 millimeters, you are able, I mean you have to, if you want to like calculate it, it's basically 240 millimeters multiplied by 1.3, then you have the result, and then you divide it by 6, and then you get the result of armor penetration, that you are able to penetrate. Of course that requires a bit of knowledge about the armor of the certain ships, but normally it's like this. Battleships from tier 8 on 32 millimeter bow and stern, and also sometimes 32 millimeter deck armor. But a lot of battleships have also deck armor that is above 32 millimeters. For example, Kurfürst has 50 millimeter. I think Yamato has 50 millimeter. And with Henri, with IFHE, you are able to pen these 50 millimeter. And that's the thing that you should always take in consideration, because if you're pushing with the Yamato Musashi, since we see in Musashi, Kurfürst into Henri, and he can't play on range, you will have a hard time and you will suffer hard. So that makes the ship so incredible, yeah, not nasty, but dangerous. Alright, what Stoev is doing here is basically how you are supposed to play Henri. Angled away, using the speed boost, and then of course striking some fire. Angled, I already mentioned that. And then play around with your speed. Move a bit forward, backward. I mean, he's probably a bit too close here for comfort, especially if you see the opposition, but he's only focused by one guy, which is not a lot. But still, that should be mentioned. I think optimal distance would be between 15 and 16 kilometers, since you have 19.1 with without the legendary module, which is already a pretty good base XP. Also, the AP is pretty potent, as here you got a bit lucky, because the Alaska... Yeah. Alaska should have, like, penned him quite a bit, but Henri has, or all the French cruisers have a little bit of spaced armor, so he's able to... well, the pen of the Alaska shells probably didn't have enough pen to go through the spaced armor into a citadel. Because the pen angle was perfect, but... Alright, so yeah, where did I stop? Oh yeah, at the AP. So AP is also pretty potent, and combined with the reload booster that Stoev is just using right now, it allows you to like devastate ships pretty quickly, or set additional fires on ships shortly after they damage con. That's basically what this reload booster is about. Or suddenly a ship shows broadside a cruiser, for example, then you can of course pump out a lot of damage in a short time. And that's, I mean, you could argue that it's probably a bit overpowered at the moment, but Wargaming doesn't see it like this, and they think Henri is fine, so yeah, you keep it like this, I guess. Alright, so and here you see it, he's in this kind of stationary position. Pretty close though, not even 15 kilometers, so if someone would like really focusing hard, then you might get trouble, but then you can speed up with the speed boost away. So never underestimate this. Henri has not such the great armor, especially its vulnerability to HE is well known, and of course close or mid to close distances, the Citadel is of course not protecting, or the spaced armor isn't protecting the Citadel well enough to bounce anything there, and yeah, so it's more made on range. I mean, of course, because of its speed, it's still able to push. It has a sufficient what is it, HP pool, so you can tank quite a bit, but you're also pretty large and I wouldn't say clumsy since you're really fast, but you're not the most agile ship, let's put it like this. But fighting over range against stationary or like slow moving targets, like in this case battleships, stationary cruiser like Moskva or Stalingrad, yeah, maybe I should mention that as well. Moscow and Stalingrad have also 50mm bow, so you also pen these ships, and that makes it quite attractive, especially for the competitive scene right now, and why it's used so so frequently. Especially in King of the Sea, we saw a lot of Henris, all equipped with IFHE, and yeah, they were able to do nasty things. Alright, so let's switch over to the battle after I explained why the Henri is so strong. By the way, I made a video about why I consider the Henri a top dog right now among all the cruisers on tier 10. I can make a link and we'll put it in as an info card. Alright, so let's go to the actual battle. We are playing on Warrior's Path, and so far, yeah, it went really well for Stoev's team. They were able to secure C, killed 2 ships. In this case, the Musashi and the Alaska. Destroyer wasn't seen, so yeah, nothing really special happened. And Stoev is now like doing the usual shenanigans in the Henri, farming battleships if he hits them, and yeah, can maybe go into a safe position or in a crucial position if need be, because the Henri is also on top really fast with 14 something, 45 knots, 44 knots when with equipped or when running speed boost. I can't remember exactly, but it's really fast. Right now he's just moving at quarter speed to get more shots on the Conqueror there. And since the Conqueror proved to only shoot HE, exactly what you shouldn't do against cruisers, especially on 15 kilometers, but okay. Or if you think you don't have the pen, I mean, as I said, the Henri armor can be a bit trollish. Then just go dark and don't shoot at all. Pretty simple. But yeah, most of the people don't have the patience or don't think twice. He will pay the price normally in losing a lot more HP than the cruiser does. Okie dokie, yeah, well, if you look at the minimap, you see C is clear, so the rest of the enemy team is somewhere around A, and that's where Stoev is headed, because you wanna go where the damage is to be found, and that's in this case A. Here we have one of the Moskvas I was talking about, and he is able to pen him everywhere, so except for the armor belt with it HE. Yeah. Normally, if you play, for example, a Zal, who doesn't have the penetration with IFA, or even with IFHE wouldn't have the penetration, you would only get good results if you hit the bow, stern, or the superstructure, while the Henri also doesn't necessarily need to hit the superstructure. You can, all what falls next to the superstructure is the deck armor, and then it will still penetrate. And you see how this Moskva is melting. So when there was an issue with too many Stalingrads in the game, that was the natural counter. So, What we also saw in King of the Sea a lot. Because not only the carrier was able to get a hold or grip on the Stalingrad, no, also the Henris that were constantly DPMing exposed Stalingrads, which is of course not a fun thing in the Stalingrad. Alright, so the Moskva goes down because two very alone there, and I don't know what his original plan was, but he also went totally broadside to these guys down here. So that's of course things you can't do in a Moskva and get away with it usually. And yeah, now it's just some patient. He's just playing his position, is safe behind the island, farms some battleships every now and then goes a bit more aggressive from time to time, I guess, or hopefully. Well, I can promise you it's going to happen, but let's see. AP, angled Montana is always an issue for cruiser AP in my opinion. Even, yeah, you see it. I mean, it's not really much angled, and Stoev is aiming for the superstructure upper armor belt, but you are more consistent with the HE in this regard. Especially by because the Montana doesn't have a 50mm deck. I think Montana was able, you were able to penetrate even without IFHE, if I'm not mistaken. American battleships have 38mm of deck armor, so might be possible. Let me quick calculate it while you watch. Not that I'm talking bullshit here. So we have 240mm divided by 6. Yeah, 40mm base pen on the 240s. Well, I could have actually. That's such an easy calculation. I could have done it in my head, but yeah, since I'm in a video and I'm not thinking too much about it, that of course was a problem. So yeah, of course 40mm. So Henri without IFHE was able to pen American battleships deck armor before. Doesn't even need IFHE. Alright, so this battle is more or less evolving still. It's slow pace, I mean, that's okay. And he already sits on 160,000 damage. It's really really no big issue to farm damage in the Henri. If you get focused in your battleship from an Henri and he's staying on range, it's super annoying. It's really super annoying. It was before yeah, the Stalingrads became so popular, and before the reload booster, the Henri was never a bad ship. Thing is, it is just played that often right now because people are running this competitive build with the IFHE, and they are literally penning everything. So it's a bit absurd, but it's how it is. Alright, so he farms the Bismarck over range. I think he damage count, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, and there we go with the fire. And he's already making his way towards C, because he saw that the Montana is moving here. So he doesn't want to lose the C cap for given reasons. Okay, so it looks as if the Bismarck had damage con available. Is of course not turning in immediately. He's turning away. He doesn't want to get in and go into a prawling and whatever, which is, yeah, most of the battleships will anyways turn away, and then you have a big trouble. You're playing on close range, so it doesn't make too much sense. So yeah. Let's see. So you see the 4 pens, 4 shatters. The shatters come from hitting probably the turrets. There's one fire, and he's constantly resetting him, which is of course not the joy for the Montana. He's slowing down to let his shots whiff. That's exactly what's happening. And now I would use my reload booster, but yeah, exactly to set an additional fire. And yeah, you see these chunks. They are no joke. They are that were 10k in 2 salvos without even a fire. Another 2k. So battleships are melting pretty quickly if they get focused by an Henri. Don't know why he didn't stay behind the island. That would have been a possibility and would have forced Stoev to play more aggressive. But he decided otherwise, and well, I mean, let's be honest, he's more lucky than good, because damage conning one fire against Henri that can pump out such a massive amount of damage is yeah, questionable. And it's not the HE, like firepower and whatever, that's a thing you shouldn't do in a battleship at all. Unless you know that you're pretty safe, because you killed the cruiser or something like that, the only one targeting you. But right now he's like focusing the Edinburgh, who's doing some questionable stuff as well. Why an Edinburgh would ever take on a Montana is yeah. How I said it. Questionable. Alright, so now the Montana is burning, I guess? No, he had to. So Stoev needed so much time that Monty had the damage con ready again. That's of course a bit annoying, but that happens from time to time. I mean, RNG gives it or takes it, you know it. But now he can of course play it a bit more aggressive. He has still 2 heals. And yeah, somehow his team managed to throw it more or less, which is of course a bit of an issue. Because now it's still a close game, so he needs to get rid of the Montana here. Okay. Bit lazy on the waiting, but okay. And now he has a fire that sticks for some reason, so since we know that he damage con always one fire, I assume he doesn't have the damage con ready. And that's his death sentence. Simply doesn't have the HP for doing it anymore. If you angle a bit and you don't wanna go completely nose in, because then the armor of the Henri gate is absolutely negated. Means yeah, they can just punch right through the nose, and then you might easily get citadel. But as you saw, Stoev was angling a bit in, so some of the shells of the Montana hit the armor belt, and then you can actually bounce. That's how good cruiser players try to avoid eating damage. Of course, if this Persian is favoring the Montana, then of course you have an issue. Yeah, that booster is doing some strange shenanigans, and yeah. And now it's 3 versus 2, and I think at that point Stoev's team wins. He sits around at 233,000 damage, and I have to say this is so far pretty. I mean, you can easily get these damage numbers. Don't get me wrong, that's not the one-trick pony, as I said before. Yu Yang is trying to rush him. Probably torped. And yeah, Stoev secures the Kraken and Confederate award. Angles in, speed boost probably mid. And there are the torpedoes as expected. He's eating one, should be fine. He has another heal left. And then there was only the Hindenburg, and I mean the top angles on the Henri are pretty good, so if he wants to go close, he can do that. I mean, the Friedrich and the Kurfürst should be able to finish off the Hindenburg in case Stoev gets caught off guard somehow by him. AP loaded, of course, that's always what you want to do in this close quarters things. And that point, Hindenburg has also good top angles, so this is a one-for-one trade. Stoev will go down. Hindenburg will go down, and the game is over. And Stoev secures a whopping 261,000 damage game. There are like Henri games out there who are like even more crazy, like 350,000 I probably saw lately. Not sure. Yeah, 6 kills on top gives you yeah, probably a lot of base XP, you will see soon. But this is more about how Henri is supposed to be played. In the start, maintaining kind of a stationary position, just moving a bit forward, backward, have your guns on on most of the targets, and then start farming. If the enemy is focusing you, of course, you increase the distance a bit, and then you start over again by reversing and going forward. As soon as you have secured one flank, or you have to leave because your team died too quickly, well then you have to relocate, the usual stuff. But that's Henri in a nutshell. And in the end, you can play aggressive like Stoev did. That's basically it. I mean, apart from basic cruiser gameplay, I just added some things that Stoev did in the Henri. Alright, so let's look at the base XP. Yeah, almost 3k. This is good. Definitely good as a top tier, and yeah, it shows you what the Henri is capable of. I mean, I had also games where I played a lot of AP because I punished cruisers heavily and so on. Depends. Don't give broadside to Henris. You get punished. Especially against good players. If you know they are good, watch out for it. Even on like 14-15 kilometer range, Henri AP is not to underestimate. Alright, yeah. That's it from the Henri. That's it from Stoev. Thanks for sending this replay in. Hope it gave you a good cover up about the Henri, and I think if I linked the HIV Top Dog HIV game, I think you will find my captain build with a legendary module. If not so, I will post it in the link below. I can't remember yet now, so sorry if for the sloppy preparation, but I'm pumping out videos today because tomorrow I don't have too much time, so I have to do it tomorrow, and therefore my research is a bit poor. Okay, yeah, wish you a good start in the week, and see you next time. Bye bye.